What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. This time we are going to be previewing the Premier League match with Cardiff City at home at the Etihad Stadium. Remember, this is a game in hand. We are playing on Saturday at 5:30 in the FA Cup semi-final. This game was scheduled for 12:30 on Saturday, this game with Cardiff, so it's had to be postponed. One of our only 3 available slots that we've got has been this week, and so hence this game is taking place this week. It's going to be on the Wednesday live on Sky Sports. If you're unable to get to the game, there's still tickets available if you are able to get to this game. And I think they're charging less than £20 if you want to go and sit up in the third tier behind where the away fans are, because Cardiff's taking a smaller allocation. So if you can get to the game, do go and get to the game. So we're going to be previewing this match, and for opposite reasons for both sides. It's a big Premier League match. Cardiff City, we'll look at our oppositions first, sitting 18th in the Premier League, currently in the relegation zone. They're fresh from a controversial 2-1 home loss to Chelsea, as Neil Warnock, in my opinion, was rightly furious with the officials from that game. And then they're looking at their next game being a huge relegation 6-pointer against Burnley, not coming up this weekend, but next weekend, which is going to be at Cardiff. And so Neil Warnock has come out and said that that's his priority, and so he's going to field the under-23s, and it's been mocked around by some of the transport section in Manchester by saying you've got the big Premier League game, Manchester City up against Cardiff City under-23s. In my opinion on that, it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me with Neil Warnock. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he went for a strong reserve team from Cardiff, because in my opinion, they're going to look to park all 11 men behind the ball. So they're going to park the bus in this game, and that's the situation we've got to deal with. We've got lots of big games coming up, and they're different in the different reasons. And this game is different because this is a team that's going to sit deep, probably going to let Manchester City have 80% plus possession in the whole game, and so we've got to break them down, and we've got to find a way of breaking them down early. City are going to make changes because we've got lots of games coming up, and so this has the potential to be a very tricky home match. And so it's one of those where if we can score early, it not only will it settle the players' nerves, but it will also settle the fans down for this game. And we're always looking for that killer 2-goal cushion. That's where we're targeting. Always we get them killer 2 goals, it's going to bring Cardiff out to play, opens the game up, and from there we can kick on and be able to try and play our normal style of football. We're going to try and hurt Cardiff and find space, because whilst it stays at 0-0, there isn't going to be a lot of space, and so Manchester City have got to force the issue. And in the past, we've had a habit of just putting hopeful balls into the box, which just isn't going to work against Cardiff's very tall, powerful, strengthy team, particularly at the back. And so we could see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 defenders sat behind the ball. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they went for 10 defenders and just shoved them all into the box, hoping for the best. So yeah, that's kind of what we're faced with. We're looking at a threat from Cardiff. Where is the threat going to be? Well, I imagine they're probably going to target things like long throws, throw-ins, set pieces, crosses, balls into the box, hoof ball, long ball, balls into space, kick and chase, things like that. The typical style of football that you probably expect from Neil Warnock. And so one way of dealing with this is always you're looking to win them second balls. No matter if we win the first ball or they win the first ball, as long as you win the second ball, you're able to pick possession up, win possession, play it into space, and then move from there. And then the attacks that Cardiff, when they're coming forward, they're snuffed out, and that's what we're dealing with. In terms of Cardiff's form, 1-1 in the last 5. Their win came as a home win against West Ham, 2-0, very good win. They're not playing too bad at the moment, Cardiff, though, and so it might be a very tricky game. I was having a look at who might start in this game, so some of the players that were on the bench that probably will feature in this game. So we're looking at Mendy, Liang, we're looking at Bobby Reid, who I think played for Bristol City when we faced them last season in the League Cup and had a good game against us. He's a quick player, so there's some danger there. We're looking at other players. You're looking at Hoilett. Will he start? Will he end up leading the attack? Will he go out onto the wings? I don't know what will happen there, but I imagine, like I said, it will probably be 5, 6, won't surprise me if we went for 7 though, defenders in this game. And so they're going to look to defend deep and defend in numbers. No matter if it stays at 0-0, they'll be delighted with that. If it goes 1-0, they'll continue to play like that. Like I said, it depends on when we get the second goal, if we get the second goal, sorry, and if they'll get a third goal, because they'll carry on defending deep. They're not going to want to get battered. They're not going to want to demoralise their team going into that big match against Burnley. And so it's got to a situation where anything they pick up from this game is a bonus for Cardiff, and if they end up losing a narrow 1-0 where Manchester City grind them down and pick up that goal, then it's not a terrible result. They've got confidence to build on and go into that Burnley game. What they're not going to want is to lose a score that's ridiculous, 7, 8-0. They're not going to want that, because that's just not the Neil Warnock way. He'll look to try and be very strong, we'll use in the tackle. We saw it in the FA Cup when we faced Cardiff last year, trying to deliberately take out our players. So if we get through on goal, expect some of that. And so we'll see some squad rotation. So these players that have maybe been a bit injured probably won't be playing, in my opinion. Now, for Manchester City, can't stop winning, so naturally it means that we won't win this game, in my opinion. Typical Manchester City and all that. But we've only lost once this year in 2019. That was against Newcastle away at the end of January. And since then, won every single game, unless you're not counting that 0-0 with Chelsea where we won the Carabao Cup. But we still came up with a cup, and so I count it as a win. But basically, we're just blitzing teams apart. We're not playing particularly well at times, and we're still playing very well, if you get where I'm coming from. It sounds ludicrous because I've seen us play so much better than what I have, in particular in that game against Fulham that we ended up comfortably winning. I've seen us play a lot better than that, and yet we still look very comfortable. And so we're looking to go through the gears. We've got big games coming up, FA Cup coming up, Champions League coming up. It's the time the players started gelling together and getting back into the rhythm after that international break. I'm not expecting a perfect performance, but a strong performance, trying their best, trying their hardest, and try and pick up the win. And at the end of the day, that's all you want from the players, and picking up the win is all that matters, really. And so yeah, this run has been going on since Southampton back in December. And we had that little sticky patch. Chelsea we lost to. We lost to Crystal Palace at home and Leicester away. And then we went to Southampton, didn't play particularly well and won. Well, we've kind of just had this winning streak going on since then. And Liverpool still keeping pace with us. Liverpool were quite a bit clear of us, but they kind of started dropping down. It looked like they might maybe fade away, but they've kept pace with us. And so it's very interesting at the top of that Premier League table, isn't it? Very interesting. For squad news for City, though, got a full squad near enough to go at. I'm expecting rotation in this game. Sergio Aguero, not really had many updates on him, not officially. I've heard on the grapevine, though, his injury isn't that serious, and so he will be out of this game, won't be featuring in the squad. I imagine he might return back to training later on this week. I don't think he'll be playing in the match against Brighton at Wembley. I think he'll be rested for that, and so he should be ready to go for the game against Tottenham, which I've heard on the grapevine is what Manchester City are trying to target him to be back for, which is next Wednesday, I think, or is it next Tuesday? Next Tuesday, sorry, where we go up against Tottenham Hotspur in their brand new stadium, which is when they're looking to try and get Aguero in for. And so, yeah, everyone else near enough there, or there or thereabouts. Not too sure if we'll see players like Mendy and Company and Bravo just yet, but maybe in the next week or so we might see them. I imagine that might be a little bit too soon for that one. So I'm going to pop up my team prediction now. So I'll talk you through some of the rotation. So I've gone for Edison in goal, Danilo at right back. So Walker getting a rest. I've gone for Stones and Laporte. Stones on the bench in the last game. I'd start him. Laporte like starting in the Premier League. So Mendy's getting his rest. I've gone for Zinchenko to go at left back. At some point we'll see Mendy. So Zinchenko will be able to get a rest because he'll be playing a lot of games from now to the end of the season. I've gone for Fernandinho, Ilkay Gundogan, and threw out a little curveball here and put Phil Foden into the midfield. Now, David Silva can't play every single game, and I think David Silva would be vital in that match in the FA Cup at the weekend. A big pitch, he's brilliant at working the ball into space, and I'm anticipating there being quite a bit of space on that big Wembley pitch, and so David Silva won't be playing every 3-4 days for Manchester City, so I see this as a good opportunity now to be able to bring Fernandinho back in, push Gundogan a little bit further forward, let him have a rest then at the weekend for the FA Cup match, and bring him back in if needed be for the Champions League. And so we're going to see Bernardo Silva. We like using Bernardo Silva out on the wing, but Bernardo Silva can't play all of the minutes, and so in my opinion, from now to the end of the season, it's a perfect time, in my opinion, for Phil Foden to be getting minutes for Manchester City. And if he isn't starting in these games, he should be getting a good cameo from coming off on the substitute bench. And I've gone for him to start. It's about time that we saw Phil Foden starting in a Premier League game. And he's a player that Cardiff won't really have prepared for, and he's a very good player going forward. And if things aren't working out, then you can bring David Silva and Bernardo Silva on the bench into the second half to see how it works. I'm not anticipating Cardiff having a lot of this ball, and so it'd be interesting to see how he does. It's a good time for rotation, and in my opinion, it's a good time for Phil Foden to be starting a game. You never know, he might just impress and might be able to lead to more starts in the future, in my opinion. Gone for Sterling, Sane and Jesus. Jesus is self-explanatory. I think we'll see Riyad Mahrez for the game at Wembley. We may even see him against Tottenham because he did do very well at Wembley, if you remember, against Tottenham Hotspur, and so we might even see him for the Champions League game. So I've gone for Sterling and Sane, and for Bernardo Silva to have his rest with David Silva. If things need be, bring them off the bench, in my opinion. But that's only my opinion, so I'd love to know in the comments below your thoughts on my team prediction and your own team prediction, and of course your score prediction for this game. I've gone for 2-0 Manchester City. I think it'll be a very nip and tuck game. I like that, nip and tuck. I think it'll be very very defensive from Cardiff, very offensive from Manchester City. They're going to look to try and build into space, and most importantly, try and be patient in this game if they don't pick up that early goal. We like scoring goals in the first 15 minutes of games. I'm not too sure if we will in this game or not. It'll be helpful if we do, and it's one of those games where if we're on the ball and we're switched on from minute one, we could end up scoring a couple of times quite early on. We've seen that a few times at the Etihad Stadium, and so Cardiff's up against it. They're fighting for the lives. We're fighting for the Premier League title. And so something kind of has to give in this game. And I'm hoping now we've got a chance here to put Liverpool back under pressure and go back to the top of the Premier League. We're at home. Make home advantage count and pick up the win that is needed. Like I said, you've got tickets available still for this game. You can get to the game. 7:45 PM GMT kickoff for this game on April 3rd. So tomorrow night, Wednesday evening. Liverpool, they're playing Friday. They've got a difficult match away at Southampton. So it's a chance for us to put a little bit of pressure on them. We've got the FA Cup coming up, so we don't have to think about the Premier League once this game's done until the weekend after. We've got FA Cup and Champions League action coming up, so it makes it very interesting. Where it leaves everyone, I'm not too sure. Like I said, we could pick up the win and go from there. It's important we can't try and take things a game at a time. For Cardiff, like I said, 18th place, 28 points, 5 points behind Burnley at the moment. Burnley are playing at the weekend. They've got a home match against Bournemouth. If they win that, they could be 8 points behind. If Cardiff don't pick up a win, if Cardiff end up losing this game, they could well be 8 points behind Burnley come the time that they face them. So they're needing points now. And so, will they go with an under-23 team? Will they go with a reserve team? Will they go with a full-strength team? I'm not too sure, but everything's on the line. All is to play for, so let's get it going. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So there we go. That has been the video. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and press the red button and press the bell and put your push notifications on. We're aiming for 2,500 subscribers. At the time of recording this video, we're only 15 away from that, so any help and support towards that will be much appreciated. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for the continued support. If you want to go and check out my social media, then my Twitter and Instagram links are in the description below, as well as on the screen. If you want to go and search for me and follow me on there, you can do. Any help towards number gains on there be much appreciated, and on here too. And I'll see you all again for the analysis, which will be up on Thursday morning of this game. Fingers crossed we'll win this game. Remember, 7 more wins and we retain the Premier League title. So there we go. That's been the video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all again for the next video, which will be up tomorrow. We've got the latest news with Manchester City, with all the latest things that's been happening for the last week, so we've got that to look forward to. So it's been JSGC. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.